Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to find my, what do I want to join? Hey, May May. Nothing happened to Duty Ron. I'm going to listen to his, one of these lives he did about Sebastian. He's got a terminal illness also. So that's why I said check out Duty Ron and show him some love. Duty Ron's been around. He's a good guy. I really loved how he, took EquiSearch and, he did a lot for EquiSearch and vice versa. I'm sure EquiSearch did a lot for him too. Oh, May, what are we going to look at today besides me? Let me go to my little picture sidekicks. Let me say, I think we're going to look at the butterflies today. We gonna look at the butterflies today. Let me share it. Yeah, he's not well from my understanding. And so definitely go show him some love. Show him some loving. My understanding is he's got a illness, and that's about all I'm gonna say about that. But definitely go show him some love. I already no, there's no more news on her, May. It just seems like I don't know. Maybe she went. They're talking about her marrying individuals from different countries, so that way they can, people make money off of that. Go ask Ziggy. Ziggy will tell you. She said she was offered $10,000 to marry somebody for a green card. It's what she said. I mean, I'm sure it's there somewhere if you want to go look for it. Hold on, I'm trying to fix my life is one big shithole today. For real. Come on now. Don't do it to me now. Dang thing. Dang thing, May. Oh, there's the mouse. Hey, how are you? How are you? So today, someone I had not watched this live from Duty Ron, where he's talking about Sebastian Rogers' case, and I've got it on my banner here, the name of the live that he did, and it's called "The Circus Must End." I hear it was a wonderful live, and so I thought we would watch it together. I don't know if you all have seen it. It's okay if you have. It's okay if you haven't. But with the Hannah case, May, that girl, I don't know what she's doing. She may have went into Mexico and thought that she was going to some wellness retreat, and they're talking trafficking and cult, and they're talking so many different things, and she does not have a phone. She does not have the phone that she had when she left Hawaii. So if she has another phone, I don't know how they would even trace that. So I know a lot of people's got different opinions on that situation, and that is absolutely fine. To have different opinions and stuff on it. I personally would not go into Mexico on my own. Now, what they say is where the point where she went into Mexico around Tijuana, they said that actually is one of the safer places, I guess, to go into Mexico at where she went in at. So I'm not sure, May. I'm not sure. But one thing I'll say is, if she finds out about her father and all that stuff, If she doesn't already know, that's going to be really sad. That is going to be really sad. Okay, so you guys know I'm going to speed this up. And we're going to listen to this. Hey, little Deb. Girl, you're up and around. So, I've always liked Duty Ron, and I'll never forget he was covering the Jared Lasik case from Adventures with Purpose over what he did to a family member and stuff. And so they were live streaming the court, and all of a sudden the judge could hear people talking, and it was Duty Ron. It was the cutest thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was Christmas time, and he was like, okay, you guys, we're going to have a Christmas giveaway and stuff like that. And you could actually hear him in the courtroom. I was like, Duty Ron, you got it going on. That's my saying for Duty Ron. Duty Ron, you got it going on. Yeah, I mean, she could absolutely know everything that's going on, May. Hey, Karen with the C. She may know exactly what's going on, May. I don't know. I don't know. And if she was trying to, if she had already been contacting a attorney over marrying, someone from another country and stuff like that, we don't know if she was going to Mexico to maybe meet up with the guy, like a 90-day fiance type of thing. I mean, we just don't know. But of course, we're absolutely sending prayers out to her. I hope she's well. But it just seemed to me the law enforcement verbiage, when they gave the update, it seemed to me like someone had made communication with her. That's just my feeling about it, but I really don't know. Okay, so this is from a month ago, and here lately, I haven't been keeping up with stuff going on the YouTube streets like I used to with Duty Ron and all them people. So I did not catch this live. So we're going to go through it rather quickly here. And because I love Duty Ron's and Ed Wallace's assessment of what is happening. So like I said, this is from a month ago, you guys, and this is Duty Ron. I will say it over and over again. I am using this under fair use, and I will be commentating on it. So y'all don't need to get mad when I stop it to commentate on it, okay? Just want to let you know. All right, here we go. Let's get started on this.
Family, Katie, Chris, and
this is if you can hear it, okay.
Family. You have the biological father, Seth Rogers, and you have his the Sebastian's mom, biological mom. They're not together, but there's this wild circus atmosphere. And Bullhorn Betty, I mean, look, I don't even like to give her airtime, but I have to now. This has gone way too far, but this has happened in the Summer Wells case. First with Gabby Petito in 2021. Summer Wells, in that case, there was a circus atmosphere going on.
Thank you, Duty
Look at
Ron.
little Quentin Simon.
Yes.
That case in Georgia was a cluster. It was so much of a cluster that the police down in that jurisdiction in Georgia, Sheriff Hadley in Chatham County, they had to install no trespassing or no loitering signs on the block. There was a guy who was in hospice in one of the neighboring homes in that case, and they were out there causing a ruckus. It wasn't just her in that one. It was a bunch of people.
Yes.
But she's got a whole long history of bullshit. And I call her Bullshit Betty, not Bullhorn Betty. The reason I call her that is because she's shown her true colors. She's shown her colors.
And, I love Duty Ron for this. One thing I'm going to say is that Duty Ron is not a bullshitter. Okay, in my opinion, he's not. He is on YouTube for a purpose, and he sticks to that agenda. He doesn't come on and play games. He's always had some of the best guests on his show. And I love the fact that he, you know, there was when he would have Dave Radar and Twyla up there from EquiSearch, he would tell people, donate to EquiSearch. He would take a lot of his earnings and give them to EquiSearch. I mean, I have like a unknown crush on Duty Ron. Okay, don't tell him. I don't want his wife to get mad, you know. But yeah, I got a little crush on Duty Ron.
Cards. She doesn't care one bit about these victims. She cares about lining her pockets and making money. And she doesn't have a steady income. So this becomes her income. And this is where the problem is. The motivation for her is not truly the victims.
And I just want to say this real quick. I don't care if you like Bullhorn Betty or don't like Bullhorn Betty. That is not what we're talking about today. So, you know, she really doesn't need to be even mentioned in chat, you know?
Or finding the missing people or children, it's for her own benefit. And she's got all her audience fooled. And I don't watch much of her, but I mean, I had to now go and look now that we see this. It's a disgrace. Ed, I know you got a lot to say.
Yeah, well, this type of antics gives the true crime community rather a bad name.
And I want to say this. The opinions of this channel are not necessarily the opinions of others. The opinion that Duty Ron and Ed are giving right now is my opinion also.
And she is not helping. She's only hurting. She's getting in the way of law enforcement. She's diverting law enforcement resources to her instead of the investigation. She's causing all kinds of mayhem that got her dragged into court.
Excuse me, guys. I got a cold.
Protection orders against. Okay, the next step is she's going to get collared and she's going to go in the system.
Right.
Okay. Now she doesn't live in these communities. She travels.
Oh, I do want to know though, because I don't know this. When does she go back to court? When does she go back to court? Because I don't know.
To these communities and causes this mayhem. Okay. Right. You're not helping. All right. And you're giving us all a bad name. You have no law enforcement background. You have no criminal investigative background. You're not a private investigator.
Thank you.
You know, you call yourself a journalist, according to what I saw on YouTube at the hearing for the, you know, the restraining orders, if you will. You know, this has got to stop.
Yeah, it's nonsense, because what it does is it takes good people that may want to help or may want to offer help to not just, you know, Seth Rogers, but to the Proudfoots, and it makes people want to just walk away from this thing, because you see the circus that's circulating,
and we're seeing it happen.
It's not going to waver. You know, law enforcement is not going to waver from their job. They have a job to do. Their job is to find out what happened to Sebastian Rogers. That's it. They don't. This stuff is white noise, and this is really something that causes. Look, this court had to be in session for 4 hours. So let's take a listen to this, Ed. I got to have our audience here. This is really unbelievable. 4 hours. They played a 9-minute video from Bullshit Betty's YouTube channel. They showed the judge all the evidence that they have against her, and it takes away from what's most important. Sebastian Rogers. Try to find this young boy and bring him home. It's despicable, but let's listen to this.
Well, the mom and stepdad of a missing boy just won a legal battle against a YouTuber who's covering that case. This all started when 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared back in February.
And I'm going to say this. Guess what? Oh, Poppy. Thank you, babe. Thank you, Poppy. I will pin that, darling. Thank you so much, Poppy. Poppy, I want to tell you, I appreciate you so much. I want you to know that. I appreciate you. For real. I do. I do appreciate you. And absolutely, this all took away from Sebastian. Just like it took away from Summer. Just like it took away from Quentin. The only difference is law enforcement is not playing these games with these people anymore at all. They're done. And it does make everyone else just want to walk away from these missing child cases. Nobody wants to give their time and efforts to look for a missing child when they're being degraded and demeaned for what they're trying to do. The good people, this is my opinion, the good people were turned away and the shady people walked right in the door without a problem. Hey, Katie Ann.
A month later, true crime social media influencer known as Bullhorn Betty.
I don't call her any influencer or any true crime, nothing. She is bullshit Betty.
Started posting videos about the Sebastian case. Well, in July, Sebastian's mother filed an order of protection against Betty.
And let me say this, Duty Ron, for him to even say anything like this, had enough. He had enough at the circus. Sometimes if you're on the Ferris wheel, you got to get off. You know what I mean? You got to get off that Ferris wheel. For real. Got to get off that Ferris wheel and go get some cotton candy. For real.
The following month, Betty, whose real name is Andra Griffin, was arrested, and that was for violating that order. So all of that brings us to today, where News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry is outside the courtroom after the judge ruled in favor of another protection order. This is for Sebastian's stepdad.
In this temporary order of protection obtained by News 2, Christopher Proudfoot claims that Andra Griffin stalked and harassed him and his family.
And Betty did. She went to his job. And as they were digging to, you know, add on to this hospital, they found bones. She immediately, oh my God, they found bones. I need to go there, da, da, da. Well, there used to be an old cemetery there, right? You call cotton candy candy floss. And so that's what they were finding was some of the places that you know, because the cemetery there was so old that a lot of the sites didn't have markers. So yeah, they talked about that, but no, she wanted everyone to think that you know, that it was Sebastian.
Defense for Griffin argued for this First Amendment rights of the YouTuber, saying she expresses only her opinion and has covered multiple missing persons cases in a similar matter.
She has fucked up multiple missing person cases with her outrageous behavior.
Duty
She hasn't covered them. She has made them into a circus.
Griffin testified several times, saying she never initiated direct contact with Christopher or had ever met him. In response, the prosecution submitted a 9-minute video as evidence of Griffin's prior YouTube videos. In one of the clips, you can see Griffin as she shares her opinion, saying she indicated Sebastian's mom and dad had the knowledge of how to dispose of a body. She added she believes they may have had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance. It is important to note that law enforcement has not said any foul play was involved in the disappearance.
Now, this is what gets me, because I do have to say this. We all can give our opinion, but, and this is just my opinion, we can all give our opinion, but there's, to me, there's just a line that if you're truly covering a case, you have to stay even keeled. You have to stay, you know, you got to be fair to both sides when you don't know what happened, right? I renamed my toilet gym. May, everybody thinks she's going to the gym 3 times a day. Well, girl, I bet you're fit. I bet you're fit. May.
And I'm going to stop it there just for a second. I'm going to put us both back on. What civilian or even us as retired law enforcement, you're a first grade retired detective. I'm a detective that has searched for many people in fugitive enforcement. When we're civilians, it's not our job to figure out who did what. If you want to go and search for somebody, or you want to help try to find someone who's missing, that doesn't mean you're going to play investigator. Ed, you're a private investigator yourself. You know about stuff like this.
That's right.
Where does she go wrong? Where do people on YouTube go wrong when they take it to the next level?
Yeah, so, you know, it's funny. You know, in order to do those kind of things, you need to be a private investigator. So
Ed's digging out for his credentials now.
Here's my 2 licenses in the state of New York and New Jersey. Okay, I am a licensed private detective, unlike other people who say they're
Victoria
licensed when they only
Burgess.
registered a company as an
Haven't
LLC.
seen you forever.
Anyhow, and don't have a private detective's license. And then you have carry insurance, and you have to have a bond, and you have to do all these things. Now you also have to have a client. You just can't inject yourself as a private detective into a criminal investigation. You know, a family member or a loved one can hire you to be conduct a private investigation of what transpired. Yeah, okay, but you still can't interfere with a criminal investigation conducted by the law enforcement agency of the jurisdiction.
And printing your own license, as someone said here, we don't know if she did or didn't do that, but printing your own license, that's a crime in itself.
Yes,
So
criminal
print
possession
her
of a
own
forged
license?
instrument, and you're creating fraud.
Did she print her own license? Dang, Betty.
Documents. And in addition, if she's going to be claiming to be a press, now the press has to have credentials, and the press gets the credentials from various law enforcement agencies. So, that's another thing. She doesn't have these things, and we don't either. We're not out there injecting ourselves into the investigation. We're giving you inside information about our experience and what this means, what that means, and which direction the investigation will go, and based upon our experience. She has none of that.
That's what's unbelievable. And, authorities know this. They know, now that she's in the courts here, they have their own court clerks and law clerks that look into her background, look into these things.
Right.
But as far as it goes with this protection order, I looked it up, and it is criminal. It is a civil proceeding to get a protection order. But once you break them, they become Class A misdemeanors. And
wow. So with the restraining order, if you break it, it becomes a misdemeanor, Class A.
it's alleged here that, and it's talked about here, that she's broken some of these orders of protection, these protection orders, as they call them in Tennessee. But they are punishable by 11 months and 29 days. And do the math, that's a year in prison. And if she broke 6 of them, or 4 of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them, or whatever the number is that she's broke, because she's got a court date on November 20th.
November 20th.
You could be, if it's 6, she's looking at possibly 6 years in jail for breaking them. And that's, I'm going to play a little bit of a clip.
So she already went to court for the second time? I thought they, but this is from a month ago, so I'm not sure.
From an attorney in Tennessee, that's what you look at. When you violate this civil proceeding that we saw on Friday, when you violate those orders by the judge, becomes Class A misdemeanors. So she's riding a slippery slope right now, and she's doing it all to herself, and she's doubling down, because after the judge gave these orders out, she went live on her YouTube channel and called the judge a fraud, and called or badmouthed the judge and said that he was running a criminal enterprise in the state of Tennessee.
That's what she
and
said.
Talked about criminal enterprises with the Proudfoots. She didn't mention them by name, but it's just, it's laughable, but it's causing a lot of havoc in this community, in this area that really doesn't need this extra nonsense.
Right.
So Ed, you and I shake our head at this. This is not what any good citizen does. And listen, for those of you who are out there supporting people that do stuff like this, just know this. You're judged by the company you keep. And if you're keeping company with someone who's conducting themselves how bullshit Betty has conducted herself, then my grandmother said it to me when I was young. You're judged by the company you keep.
Thank you. Thank you, Duty Ron. Remain Calm's been saying this for a while. You are definitely judged by the company you keep. For real. That is true. Very true saying. Your grandmother was correct. We are talking, Duty Ron is talking about the Sebastian Rogers case. This is from a month ago.
You want to support someone who's doing stupid shit like that, then that's on you. We're all adults here. I mean, Ed, anything to add to that?
I mean, she doesn't have a great following, right? She's like what, 30, under 60,000?
I don't know, but she's got a following. And that's my point, is that there's people that are buying her bag of shit. They're buying her bullshit. And, it's unfortunate, because she really does trick a lot of people into thinking that she's doing the right thing, and she's making it sound like everyone's out to get her. Look, she called in the Quentin Simon case, the chief, Sheriff Hadley from Chatham County. She said that he needs to resign and that he's a fraud and that he's a phony. Meanwhile, the FBI, the sheriffs there, the GBI, all the federal authorities were searching the landfill for this little baby, Quentin Simon. And they found his remains, and they closed the case, and they locked up Leilani Simon. They locked her up, and they did the job. And she still, to this day, says that they suck and that they're no good. Like, come on, give me a break, man. Just give me a break. Let's play this.
knowledge of how to dispose of a body. She added she believes they may have had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance. It is important to note that law enforcement has not said any foul play was involved in the disappearance of Sebastian. Christopher took the stand next, saying he felt threatened by Griffin.
When your client goes to my job, my house, my campsites, yes, that is stalking.
On that you just testified to, have you ever spoken or communicated with Mr. Proudfoot in any form?
No, sir.
So that,
But she did, and she showed it on her channel. Chai, I know you're a Bullhorn Betty person. Did you see what I seen when she was showing her phone, right? Katie Ann, it's not really relevant if you like Duty Ron or not. That's not, I'm not showing this to even talk bad about Betty or whatever. That's not the point here. The point is that where is the line drawn from helping in a missing child case to ending up using law enforcement, taking their time away from searching for a child, and you're sitting there saying things like, oh my gosh, all these people are, interfering with finding Sebastian when this was going on. It doesn't make any sense. But no, it's not I'll say that just like I did with Betty. It's not if you like Betty or not, if you like Duty Ron or not. That's just not even, nowhere that I'm going today with that stuff. So
that's a lie. She lied on the stand. When she was just asked that question, she said, no, sir, because she, by her own self, she did this to herself, Ed. She played on her YouTube channel a voicemail that she left on Chris Proudfoot's phone, whether it was through a direct message on Facebook or social media. She made this funny video where she was laughing. And this video she made in June of this year. She made that video saying, ha, 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 I contacted him. Here's my voicemail I left him. I'm going to play that in a little bit. You guys are going to get to hear it. She lied on stand on Friday.
And that's perjury. And that's now we're getting in deeper trouble.
Yeah. It's she's her own worst enemy. Who is she affecting here? She's affecting Sebastian Rogers. Right. That's who she's affecting. Yeah, not helping anybody, Ed. She's affecting this boy. She is taking the attention away, and the media is covering this. And the judge has a 4-hour courtroom opening here. It's just ridiculous. Ed, what's happening? Are you getting tickled?
No, Kara's near me, and she's like,
she doesn't like Bullhorn Betty.
No, she doesn't like that name.
Okay, Kate.
Yeah, and I looked it up. She has 36.9 thousand subscribers. Okay, that's 36.9 too many.
Yeah, exactly. She's got them all fooled, and the people who are sending her money, I'm sure she's going to start a GoFundMe for her lawyers because she doesn't pay for anything on her own. I don't even think she has a job. I think her job is to go on YouTube and swindle money from people, making them think that she's doing something great. And all she's really doing is effing up every case that she goes to. She turns it into a shit show.
Look, everybody.
And Duty Ron has total 1,000% right to give his opinion on that stuff. Okay. And that's why I say, I know a lot of people are like, why you make people say in your opinion? It's because you need to freaking, say that things are your opinion. I feel that people like her are disrespectful. Well, this is the thing, Chai. This is one thing I'm going to say. A lot of these people who act like they're the victims are the victimizers. Does that make sense? They're the victimizers. So they want to run around and act like, oh my gosh, I'm the victim of this, when they're truly not the victims. They were the victimizers to start with. And I can give you an example, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not going there right now. I'll just put it that way.
Everybody, is allowed to have their opinions and their beliefs.
Absolutely.
Okay? Right. But you cannot then project your opinions and your beliefs into the public arena with not having dotted your I's and crossed your T's. And
Oh my gosh, that is so funny that he said that. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on, you guys. This is going to be weird, I know. But let me find it. Let me find it. I've had this clip forever. If I can find it. Let me find it. Gosh, it's way down here in my stuff. You guys are going to lose your crap when I show you this. Where is it at? Way down here. Way down in my little clips. It's like one of the first clips I ever freaking did. Hang on, I'll find it. Here it is. They led me to this. They did. Okay. So this is Betty. This is Betty not dotting her I's and crossing her T's. Okay. Hang on. I got to back it up. Hold on, you guys, because I know you can't hear that because it just told me that you guys can't hear it. Let me back it up, or we don't back things up over here. Let me pull this back up. Here we go. All right. This is, since they said that she needed to dot her I's and cross her T's. This is Betty dotting her I's and crossing her T's.
We have all our T's crossed and all of our dies audited.
All of your dies audited? All of your dies audited. Is she talking about DIES or she's talking about a dice? Okay, so you've got a dice, one that you roll while you're playing Yahtzee, and they went to audited? What's audited? Like OUTD definition, OUTD definition, not a word.
I couldn't help myself, you guys. I couldn't. I apologize. All right, here we go. Let's get back to this.
Understanding the ramifications of saying something that may be untrue, and the defamation that may occur, the character assassination that may occur with things like this. Okay,
look at this comment right here. This is how people are very, very tricked by this bull. Amber says, "Oh, this is a Bullhorn Betty bash." Gotcha. No, it's not a Bullhorn Betty bash. This is what she did to herself. I unfortunately have to make.
But see, that's the thing. People don't realize that she went to court. She's got things happening because she did this to herself, right?
A statement on this because this is a case that we all cover and that it's near and dear. Our friends from EquiSearch went and searched for this young boy, went and searched for this missing kid, and
Yes.
Dave and Twyla they went there twice searching for
Yes,
Sebastian.
they did.
and Amber, this is not just about Bullhorn Betty. There are other YouTube true crime people that do this nonsense. And I said that in the beginning. So if you were listening in the beginning, then you would have heard me say how they're hurting our genre. Okay, how they're hurting these criminal investigations with their antics. It wasn't just about Bullhorn Betty, but she's just the prime example right now because she has these order of protections against her.
Yeah.
And as soon as she gets them, she walks outside and bashes the judge.
Yeah.
Right. This is not a bash
Yeah,
of her.
she did.
This is just us covering her shit show, her
Thank
own
you.
created shit
Thank
show
you.
that she is doing. She's doubling
Yes.
down, and she thinks that she's above the law and that she is all high and mighty, and that's not the case. She should go and search for Sebastian Rogers. If you really want to find the kid, I don't really see you doing much searching. And Ed and I, we've never claimed to go. We're not ones that
Well,
go out.
no, because if you ask Seth, that's all you need to do is hand out flyers, right? Thank you, Poppy. Please dress your words up in chat. Thank you, ma'am.
And search. We will help fund or send people to search, like EquiSearch Midwest. We're the law enforcement liaison with them. But that's not what we do. We don't go from state to state with bullhorns out in front of people's houses and cause a ruckus. We want to bring attention with our platform to the case so people could.
Because let me tell you guys something. The Quentin Simon case showed everyone exactly what was transpiring there. While they were out in front of Leilani Simon's mother's house, Billy Joe Howe, and they're screaming, child, K-I-L-L-E-R, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? Law enforcement was doing their job. But many times, law enforcement kept having to come out where they were doing this little, whatever they were doing. It took so much. Luckily, like I said, law enforcement, May, you're so funny. Law enforcement did not let them get under their skin in the Quentin Simons case. They went out there and found him, and they didn't stop until they did find him. She had nothing to do with it.
Could see it, so people can hear about it, so people can talk about it, so there can be civil discourse, and people can talk and share. The more people that hear about it, the better. But when I listen to some of these live streams about Sebastian Rogers, I don't hear anybody talking about him. So we're going to show his picture after this, and I'm going to show the flyer from the TBI and the FBI. But let's let the rest of this play.
Been talking about
Mr. Prospect in any form.
No, sir.
Do you recognize him?
Only by interviews on media as well as alternative media.
Are you talking about your interviews or other
Other
interviews?
people, I've never met him in person.
After an almost 4-hour hearing, the judge ruled in favor of Proudfoot's order of protection. At this time, Katie Proudfoot and Sebastian's step-grandparents have all obtained protection orders against the YouTuber. Now, the YouTuber is set to be back in court on November 20th for 6 counts of a protection order violation. In Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry.
So there's another piece, Ed, that I want to play quickly, because this one shows actually Chris Proudfoot on the stand.
A YouTuber tracking a teen's disappearance is now barred from discussing the case.
It all started when 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared on February 26th. A month later, true crime social media influencer Bullhorn Betty began posting videos about the case. In July, Sebastian's mother filed an order of protection against Betty. The following month, Betty, whose real name is Andrea Griffin, was arrested for violating that order. All of that brings us to today.
News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry was in the courtroom.
Tensions ran high in the courtroom after the judge ruled in favor of the 4th order of protection against YouTuber Andrea Griffin. This decision comes a month after Griffin was last in court for 3 different order of protections filed against her. In court today, the defense attorney representing Griffin argued largely for her First Amendment rights. Griffin said multiple times on the stand that she never directly contacted Christopher, nor had ever met him. She did, however, state that she would visit his neighborhood to allegedly get a better understanding of the.
And I think 100%, Ed, I don't know this for a fact, but I think in that 6-minute video that was presented to the judge, they played the audio of her and probably the video of her on her own channel. She's doing this to herself, contacting Chris Proudfoot. She shows everybody, puts her phone up to the screen and says, look, this is Chris Proudfoot's number. I just want to show you, but I'm going to hide the messages that I've sent back and forth to him. So she hides the messages, and then she plays the video of her talking, leaving a message for the guy.
That's too fast.
So in court, as this reporter says, he claims that she never reached out or never. The only way she knows of him is just by seeing him on interviews from other people.
Christopher, nor had ever met him. She did, however, state that she would visit his neighborhood to allegedly get a better understanding of the layout and put up flyers of the missing teen. And at one point, she also admitted to going to Christopher's place of work. Christopher also sat on the stand and claimed he felt threatened by Griffin. After a 9-minute video showing statements and a repeated pattern of actions by Griffin from her YouTube channel, the judge said she was harassing Christopher and granted the order of protection. The judge cited the creation of a t-shirt with Christopher's face on it and the posting of flyers with the alleged intention of gaining attention from Christopher as the reasoning.
States that she is an investigative journalist and that she reports on news and commentary. Somewhere along the line, this turned not into a pursuit to find Sebastian Rogers. It turned into a personal vendetta.
How about that, Ed?
Hang on.
She claimed to be an investigative journalist, and the judge had notes there. He had copious notes that he was reading.
Get that,
and he said that it turned into a personal vendetta. He didn't just come up with this himself, Ed. This judge doesn't just pull this out of a hat. He doesn't just make this up.
I can't find it.
Bullhorn Betty went live right after the proceeding. He called this judge a farce. He said that he had his mind made up before the court proceeding even happened. She totally discredited this court. That's never a good thing to do, Ed. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you're going to be sentenced by this guy. You kind of don't want to piss him off before the sentencing. It's never a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
But she said that she was a paralegal in the past. She said that she worked in and around courts
yeah,
for a long
she
time.
did say she was a
She claims to
paralegal.
be a lot of different things.
States that she is an investigative journalist and that she reports on news and commentary.
Pardon my French. Oh, hell no.
Somewhere along the line, this turned not into a pursuit to find Sebastian Rogers. It turned into a personal vendetta. You know, it's interesting that you came to Sumner County to help assist in finding Sebastian Rogers, but there's been really very little testimony by you of what you've done other than harass Ms. Proudfoot and Mr. and Ms. Bowersox.
Bam. And again, this guy doesn't just pull stuff out of the air. He doesn't, he has to do his research. He has to get data. Judges don't just speak on things. He's not watching YouTube videos. However, he did have a 9-minute presentation of Bullhorn Betty's best. So,
he has law clerks, and it's their job to help him do the research to prepare for the case. All right. So, you know, she's coming in here and thinking that, you know, she's going to pull the wool over this guy's eyes. She's sadly mistaken again.
Bingo. All right. So, I want to give some context to everybody. What happens when a person violates a protection order in the state of Tennessee? So we're going to take a look at this together. I didn't show you this, Ed, but I know that, you know, I do my research. So,
well, you know, it's got to be similar to what we do here in New York.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So watch and listen. Hope that Bullhorn Betty sees this.
Yes.
I'm sure she knows it.
Well, you know, not just her. I hope everybody that pulls stunts like this see it.
Everybody. And there's many people who do these silly stunts, and it's all for the,
What happens
it's all
when
for
a
the love of
person
money. And that's the
violates
shame.
an
It comes
order
on the
of
backs
protection?
of missing and murdered children. Missing and murdered children. And, you know, Bullhorn Betty doesn't really discriminate. She went to Moscow, Idaho, put Idaho 4, and parked her ass right outside 1122 King Road. She went and made a mockery of Gabby Petito with yelling and screaming in the streets, along with a lot of other people. And a lot of things.
I will never forget Gabby Petito. Them out there, woo, 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 woo. Hey, cotton candy. We love cotton candy. Yes, the Gabby Petito case. And while they're out there do with their bullhorns, Brian Laundrie gets in a vehicle and pulls out the driveway and leaves. And they're still out there do. Yeah, positive or negative attention. Yes, he did. I hadn't heard it before. That's why I'm playing it right now, Cotton Candy. Because y'all know, if I haven't seen something, I like to watch it with you guys. For real. It's like movie night on the porch.
She doesn't discriminate. She goes to all these cases where she knows that there's going to be attention. I just wish she would have came to Massapequa Park, Long Island, because then I would have gotten out there and I would have gotten to meet her.
That in and of itself, you think of like a DUI. Refusal to blow in a DUI could be its own separate action, and that's true about the violation of order of protection in Tennessee. So getting back to what I was talking about before, when we say quasi-criminal, truly an order of protection is not a criminal proceeding. It is a civil proceeding, but it has some dynamics to it, some procedural aspect to it that make it similar to a criminal proceeding like a notice issue. But when they violate an order of protection, that is a crime in and of itself.
But you violate a protection order in the state of Tennessee, it makes it a crime. So the proceeding, and I think Bullshit Betty is paddling this to her fan club and her people, her audience. It was just a civil hearing that I was attending. It was a 4-hour civil hearing that gave you strict orders to leave certain people alone and stop harassing them. And when you violate that, here's the result.
It's a Class A misdemeanor. Those are punishable by 1129, so 11 months and 29 days being the max.
Wow.
11 months and 29 days. And there you have it on the board.
Somebody told me that she was, I don't know if this is true. Okay. I don't know if this is true. So it's kind of gossipy. But someone had said something about she was gonna sell her house or something. I don't know. That is the thing. This is the thing that I want to say. And thank you, Cotton Candy, for saying that. Throughout the Summer Wells case and the Gabby Petito case and Quentin Simon and all of that, these retired law enforcement detectives, even forensics, individuals, all these people with all of these credentials, nobody wanted to pay them any mind. Nobody wanted to listen to what they had to say. This is just my opinion. It was so much easier to listen to the drama and all of that stuff. Well, I listened to Duty Ron, and I also listened to Chris McDonough. Not that I'm crazy about the guy, but he had a lot of individuals on his panel that were all very, very qualified individuals on giving their estimation or guesstimation or their opinion, whatever you want to call it, on these missing children. Hey, loves to lurk.
Friends, wish there was a way I can get that off. Let's see.
You also often see people go back in if they have an active order of protection and request an extension.
11 months and 29 days for each.
Well, you tell Duty Ron that Remain Calm is sending big, big hearts and big, big hugs, and prayers are never ending in my mind for him.
Violation. Violated 6 times, violated 4 times, you got 4 years. You got 6 years when you violated 6 times. And then
how many times did she actually violate it? 7, was it 6 or 7? A lot of times.
what can happen is the judge can take that 1 year order of protection order, they call it, and he can extend that. It's not like a year will come by and it'll just go away. He can extend it.
Of the order of protection, if they have an active order of protection and request an extension of the order of protection in the civil proceeding as, some additional protection that they're getting for the violation. So instead of getting the regular 1129 order of protection, they could be getting it extended 2 years for the first violation. This is my understanding. I'm going to start with.
I know about here. When I had to get some ROs, they were given to me 2 each. Each one was a 2-year order. So it probably does depend on the circumstances and stuff.
2 years. If you have seen as a violation, it's going to start with 2 years. If you have more than one violation or a violation after the 2-year extension, you're looking at 5 years. It doesn't escalate though. That's already expired, and this is their second time getting an order of protection.
She's already said she's doubling down and she's not going to back down. So there's the law. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, also, if she has a concealed carry permit and a handgun, she can have those weapons removed from her.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Now, even if she doesn't live in that state.
Now, don't forget, this is a month ago, so there are things that we've kind of learned since this time. And yes, I know all about the tattoo, but well, I'm not talking about that right now. Yeah, we know all about the tattoo. Maybe she thought that she needed to get a tattoo before she went to jail. I don't know. That's just a statement. I'm just wondering. I don't know. Okay. But maybe she felt that if she had a tat when she got in there already, that she gonna go in there and she gonna tell her fellow inmates that this is why I'm here. I'm here because of this boy that's tattooed on my arm. I was speaking out for him. And this is where I'm at because of it.
That state can then contact her state and say, hey,
that's just what I'm thinking in my mind anyway.
We have the order of protection against her in this state. And if they have red flag laws, they can enact the red flag laws and remove her guns.
Yeah, and she shouldn't have guns, in my opinion. I question her mental health, really, because of the way she acts. Amber Alert, here it is. This is from TBI.gov. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is what this case is all about, folks. It's not about anything else. So this is the poster that's active and up, and it gives his pedigree. Age 50.
And honestly, you guys, the only reason that I quit covering Sebastian's case, I do go back over it sometimes, is because of the fact that, I mean, look at all the lies. This is one thing that I don't understand. Okay, this is one thing I don't understand. Why now, after all this time, it just comes out that they were all talking about sending him to one of those messed up schools. Now, I'm sorry because I don't agree with those programs. Paris Hilton talks about these places, you know, that people send their kids to, and bad things are happening. So I don't understand. I heard, I don't know if it's true, that it was kind of given to a creator to bring out by someone who's been quiet throughout this case. I'll just say that. I don't know if that's true or not, but why didn't that information come out earlier? Why? Why is it just now coming out? Seth never said nothing about it. Sometimes the ones that are quiet are the ones you need to watch out for. I'm just saying.
15, male, white, brown eyes, brown hair, 5'5", 120 pounds. The NIC ID, NCIC, missing from Sumner County since February 26, 2024. And this is the Amber Alert, and it goes on. That's from the TBI. Let's go to the FBI's website, and they have more information. You can download this poster like I did, and you can view it. And the reward is now $100,000 thanks to, I believe, Dog the Bounty Hunter increased it from the $50,000 that the FBI put out. So now it's up to $100,000. So these are some of the things. I'll link it all in the description. Let's just see. Hold on.
But this is just my opinion, you guys. You guys know I give my opinion a lot. Okay. This is what I see transpiring along the way. And this is just my thoughts, okay? That Chris was out of town working. He was gone all the time. He was getting ready to go to court to fight for visitation of his daughter. And then, so Katie was left to fend for 15-year-old Sebastian by herself, which couldn't have been easy. You have an autistic child. You have a child who's going through puberty. You have his father who is telling us these sexual happenings, you know, hey, is yours bigger than mine or whatever. So I believe that, I don't know if this is true. Like I said, these are just my thoughts. That Seth was brought into the picture because Katie needed help with Sebastian. And who better to help with her son than her son's father? When did they have the conversation about sending him to one of these places? And it's my understanding that Katie was trying to find some place close to her so she would have a little bit of control of what's going to happen to her son. This is a case of parental alienation and a planned. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get you, Cotton Candy. I get you. Yes, Sebastian was already in school. And the way that it all came out to me when Katie and Chris talked about Sebastian was that he was doing fairly well in school. The main problem was he would have accidents, and, you know, Katie would have to take him clothes and things like that. Oh, yeah, I agree too. Scorned ex. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Seth has made that really clear to people. I don't understand it, but then I don't need to understand it.
Yep, this is it. I think I have one more. Okay. let's. Oh yeah, Court TV. I wanted to show this coverage, Ed, because this was interesting. It's a little bit more lengthy, but it goes inside the courtroom. So Court TV, this was from Friday night. They showed some of the testimony, and it looked like this goes a little bit deeper. And I think in 4 hours, she might have been up on the stand once or twice, maybe. And then in the second part of this testimony, she all of a sudden has a change of heart and then says that she did contact Chris Proudfoot. So let's take a listen to this. This is a little bit more from Court TV.
Goes back in court.
Where a hearing took place on Thursday in the case of missing teen Sebastian Rogers.
Oh yeah, it was the 10th. It wasn't Friday. What was I saying? Hold on. Did I say the 10th? Yeah, it is the 10th. It's Thursday. The hearing didn't take place Friday. It was Thursday. I stand corrected.
The 15-year-old was last seen.
Why is he getting sued? KK, why is he getting sued? I've missed out so much on this case.
At his mother's home in Tennessee back in February. Sebastian, who has autism, disappeared overnight, leaving his shoes behind. The search is national, with some YouTubers getting involved, including Andra Griffin, aka.
This is the thing with the shoes. I kept wondering why they were making a big issue of all of his shoes are here. What if a pair of his shoes were gone and they knew that the whole time? Oh, I know that, Karen.
In July, Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, filed a protection order against Bullhorn Betty, accusing her of harassment. The following month, Bullhorn Betty was arrested for violating the restraining order. Yesterday, the judge granted a new protection order against Andra Griffin. Both Griffin and Sebastian's stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, spoke during that hearing. Take a listen to some of their testimony.
Hang on, I'll slow it
Being
down.
arrested, you still saw fit to continue your advocating with a voiceless need. Yes.
Sebastian matters to you.
Sebastian matters to me a lot, she says. Well, I could rephrase that. Money matters to me a lot.
Oh my gosh, he
I'd
is
like
on
I'd like
it.
to bring him home. I'd like to bring him home
Thank you.
safely. I hope the application that we do along with other people like help aid in that effort.
Wow.
Anybody that watches her,
Now
they notice that she
email it
always
to
says what
me.
the advocation that we do. Who's we? The last time I checked and the last time I've seen this woman talk, it's always her, but she makes reference to like we, like she's got some kind of team behind
Yeah, she's got Seth Rogers behind her.
her. I don't see anybody getting behind her. You know, I think it's a shame that she's nestled up with Sebastian's father. I think that Seth Rogers, she's also fooled him. She's bamboozled him into thinking that she's a good person. So I'd like to know who this we is. And it's just, to me, things that make you go,
I always said, does she have a mouse in her pocket? When somebody says we, it's like, you got a mouse in your pocket?
First come to Sumner County, Tennessee about the Sebastian Rogers.
She's been saying we for years.
I think I arrived here, it was June 22nd, but it was in the evening. So it's just basically checking into a hotel, resting because it was a long drive.
Then what did you do?
One of the main key factors of this case is that the child disappeared between midnight and 6 a.m. So one of the first things I wanted to do was preview the area at night to see what it looked like. I've never been here. I know nothing about this area. I know nothing about how dark it is outside or what certain lights are.
It gets dark at night. I just want to let you know a little secret. How many people in the chat have seen this?
Good one, Duty Ron. Hey, you guys, it gets dark at night. Okay, don't forget that.
On Court TV. How many of the people in the chat have seen Bullhorn Betty giving her testimony before the court? Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen it. Put a 2 if you haven't. Let me know in the comment section below.
Where, and the only way you can get that information is previewing it at the time of the night that it allegedly happened. And as as being a investigative reporter, I do look into those. I look into factual information, whether things hold.
Ed, in court, she's actually calling herself an investigative reporter.
Wow.
Is that laughable to you?
Yes.
It is to me.
That was a yes from
PR.
me, in case you couldn't hear it.
Water or can be disproved.
So what did you do?
I got up, I took a stroll, and of course I have a dash cam in my car, so I just click it and I basically.
Let me ask you this, where were you staying?
She's in the middle of answering your question. Sure. So I was staying in Goodlettsville at a hotel. And so I was just, I have a dash cam, and so all I pretty much did is, I think it was less than 25 minutes from the time I left my hotel to the time I got back. And I just drove through and got a nighttime view and looked at everything that we saw on the news, just to get a lay of the land. A lot of people were making.
So 20, This is the thing, y'all. Think about this. It was a 20 to 25 minute deal. She left her room and she comes back within 20, 25 minutes. But that 20, 25 minute drive she took, she probably made 20 videos off of that. Right? You see how that works? So, yeah, her little 20, 25 minute jaunt probably made her quite a little bit of money, in my opinion. Is it? Well, I will sing happy birthday to him when I go to get off, Victoria.
A lot of allegations related to the video that was seen, and I wanted to see what the shadows, where the lights were, just a lay of the land, so to speak.
Please be very certain with your answer. Have you ever intentionally communicated to Christopher Brown?
I do believe I did respond to him at some point in this.
You responded to this text?
Yes, sir.
How did you respond?
There was also some threats of violence toward me from a content creator named Ricky Don Smith. And I had asked him, this is a person he's been on our channel with multiple times, and I asked him if he could please stop her from threatening me.
Stop who from threatening?
Ricky Don Smith.
That's not what she read to us. Huh, okay.
I have no idea who Ricky Don Smith is, nor do I want to know who it is.
Me neither.
But she is bringing that up in her own court proceeding. It's just unbelievable.
What are you afraid of from Andra Griffin?
Oh, wait.
What am I directly afraid of, sir? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, when you make a video threatening that you want to bring a gun from another state to this state, directly videos related to me, my wife, my family, that's a threat, plain and simple.
Okay.
She also said she was going to bring a machete, for the record. No, sir. No, sir.
Would you agree that what's seen and heard is unheard?
I'm not an expert to make it.
Do you believe everything on the internet to be truthful?
Possibly. Maybe.
Further, Ron.
That's a great question that the I don't know who is asking him that question, but the thing about it is, do you take social media threats as real life threats? And I'll have to talk about this sometime, but I can pull up cases where there were creators. One was named, I believe his name was Don something. He absolutely was. These people will unalive a creator, you guys. So you can take social media threats any way that you need to, but it's a real thing. People get hurt. People get hurt.
Never directly.
I'll get it.
Called you,
Thank
texted you directly. Exchange receipts.
Hasn't contacted me other than via the
Contacted you based off of
hundreds.
Is it possible void?
I don't know why it's skipping. I think that's on the court TV site. I'm just going to go back. But basically, he asked her if she's contacted him and how many times, and he said hundreds. Did you hear that, Ed?
I couldn't hear it. It's very choppy.
Yeah, it was skipping at that part. I don't know why. This is on the court TV. I'm going directly from court TV's website.
Do you believe everything on the internet to be truthful?
Possibly. Maybe.
Further, Ron.
That Ms. Griffin never directly called you, texted you, correct? Exchange receipts.
Hasn't contacted me other than via
Contacted you based off of
Yeah, it's skipping. So I'm not going to play this because I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it's skipping like that. I didn't listen to it until I just saw it and I downloaded it and I put it on.
Resources in a time where most law enforcement agencies are having their budgets cut and so
I'm going to
forth,
go through this
away
a little bit
from
quicker, you
the
guys.
investigation to deal with your nonsense of a potential.
Yeah, I'm going to
suspect.
look at it.
Let me give you that.
Give me a minute.
These people have not. The investigation has not been closed. These people have not been cleared. Okay, the mother and the stepdad have not been cleared, nor has the father. So there's still an investigation going on, and now you're causing all kinds of mayhem in this investigation.
Holy moly!
You have to think before you do. I mean, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do that. Okay, and you have to understand that, for every action, there's going to be a reaction. And some of these things, the consequences of which you're dealing with it now because of what you've done.
Right.
And these are life lessons that you should have learned as a child, that your parents should have taught your children these life lessons about consequences.
Right. And she has a history. I mean, look, for me, it doesn't matter what happened in the past, but she's not a young person. She's an adult. She's at least in her 40s or maybe 50. Where's that screw loose? What's happening with this person? Why is this person continuing to do this? And why, another thing is why are people cheerleading her on? Why are people getting behind her and saying, you're doing a great job? I watched her outside of one of the jails in Georgia when another YouTuber.
From my understanding, Twyla comes up on here. I want to hear what Twyla had to say.
Got locked up, and she was calling the correction officers frauds, fakes, phonies, that, shame on you, you're not doing your job. And she called out.
Oh my God, I would not want to go to a jail where I call people out and tell them they're not doing their job, because guess what? They're going to make sure they are very thorough when they're searching you, etc., etc., etc. Oh, okay, H. You go chill out and take your nap. I know it's your nap time, dude. But thank you for popping in.
Sheriff Hadley, and said that he should be fired. She actually claimed that she got him fired at one point on her YouTube channel. The guy's still the sheriff there. He was going to leave and take the sheriff's position in the state of Texas, but he decided not to, and he's still there. And he's still in his position. Ed, you got something up there?
No, Kelly Dime nailed it right here. The problem is she doesn't think she's doing anything wrong, and now she thinks she's the victim. Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. She's a self-appointed investigator, self-appointed journalist, and she takes up these high-profile cases, and she's got it in her mind somehow that she is helping these investigations, and she is not.
Let me see if I can get to Twyla.
We report, Ron and I report the facts. We bring you the story, and we tell you, from our personal experiences as detectives in the NYPD, what things mean and how we view things based upon what we learn from the reports that are in the news about.
And whether you guys like Chris McDonough or not, he had a guy on that was coming on. His name was Steve Johnson, I believe. And I learned so much from that guy. I did. So it's sometimes these are free classes. They're free classes. I love to watch people with accredited resumes, I'll say. And just watching Steve Johnson, and I'm weird, I write everything down. So as I was writing down them talking about the Summer Wells case, I'm also writing down how he's explaining how to look basically at a suspect's verbiage and be able to even, have more questions, or it says, it tells you a lot. It really does.
Specific high profile cases.
And I was going to take these classes, but they're a little bit too expensive for me. So
we don't go out to some suspect as self-appointed vigilantes and start following them around and harassing them and making phone calls and ghosting them or outing them and all of this stuff. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And this is another thing too, is like people are saying like she calls herself the victim. Everybody's wrong. Like, in other words, since the judge didn't rule in her favor, the judge is now corrupt. And look, the judge is looking at all of the facts of the case. Judges in this country don't just all of a sudden make a decision up before the court starts to Chris Crawford. And she put this on her own channel. And I'm just going to play the audio because it's from another channel that I guess clipped it. But I think it's important to hear it because this is how bold and brazen she is. And this is how she feels that she's entitled to do the things that you're not supposed to do if you're a good citizen. So let's take a listen to just the audio of this.
Contacted these people. I've never contacted these people. I've never had anybody contact these people. This is infuriating, right? Katie and Chris. Oh, Chris, remember that text message I told? Oh, let's read.
She's talking directly to Chris now. Chris Proudfoot. That's
Katie.
That's exactly what she's doing. Husband or significant other. not the father. That's not Sebastian's father, but that's who was living at the house where he went missing from. So it's the mom, biological mom's either boyfriend or husband, and she's directly talking to him. She's on the screen. She's talking, but I don't even want to give her the time. So I'm just going to let you guys listen to this audio. So now this is her talking to him, and she shows her phone and shows his name with his number.
She does.
Or his name, his contact, and then she says what she says right on the video.
Read the text message I sent you.
Are you going to show it?
I'm not going to read your response to me, but I'll read my message because I want to see if it rings true to you now, Mr. Proudfoot. Oh, I put a message. Oh, it was a voicemail message.
She said, I'm not gonna read his reply to me, right? Yeah, I like Dr. Gary too.
And just to show you that this is the real Chris Proudfoot, okay? I just don't want you seeing the message he wrote me because I don't have his permission to use it. Oh, it's weird. I didn't play my voicemail clip.
It's Bullhorn Betty. I did want to stop by because I saw you on another channel that protects criminals, which is kind of odd that you circulate those channels.
I saw you on a better channel. What? That's weird. Why would she say I saw you on a better channel? I saw you on a better channel. Was that before? Do you guys remember when Seth and Tony Mathis went up on her panel and she was like crying? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are here. Thank you so much. I've got 15,000 people in chat. Oh, thank you so much. You guys remember that? I do.
Just to show you that this is the real Chris Proudfoot, okay? I just don't want you seeing the message he wrote me because I don't have his permission to use it. That was weird. I didn't play my voicemail clip.
It's Bullhorn Betty. I did want to stop by because I saw you on another channel that protects criminals, which is kind of odd that you circulate those channels. However, there was one comment that you made about how we need to take law classes. And I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you know this about me, but I worked in law offices for years. I have a paralegal degree.
There you have it. So I said this earlier on, and there was a bunch of people in the chat saying she never said she has a paralegal degree, but here she is saying it. To confirm it. This, I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
With honors. So I have a paralegal degree.
Hey, stop.
So waited with honors.
Ed?
Where have we heard this kind of language before? I graduated law school, summa cum laude.
Oh, yes, Ed. Say it loud. Say it proud. Yeah, we heard this.
And then she murders her 16-year-old. Oh, my God.
Wow.
So let's
As a matter of fact, so I have a paralegal degree, and I graduated with honors, as a matter of fact. So I know you think I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm doing, but I can promise you I do. And I've done investigative work on cases just like this many other times. So if you would like to talk off the record, I'm happy to hear what you have to say.
How are you investigating a case when you're standing out in front of people's houses with bullhorns? How are you investigating a case by doing that? Yeah, I want to get to Twyla. I heard she was not happy.
But honestly, this is where I stand. So take it for what you will.
So, Chris, I just wanted to let
So
you know.
take it for what you will.
How do you like me now? I mean, you didn't like me before. But I just want to let you know, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I told you I would be up in your orifices and up in your colon. I'm not far enough yet.
Oh, yeah, this is where she talks about going up the booty hole. For real. You didn't like me before.
But I just want to let you know, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I told you I would be up in your orifices and up in your colon. I'm not far enough yet. I'm not far enough. I told you to be painless. Like you didn't even know I was up there until boom. Right? I see a polyp.
Wow. This is where I question mental health here.
He's freaking
Like, she's telling this guy she's up his ass and she sees a polyp. Ed?
There's no doubt in my mind the judge saw this.
The judge
and it was probably introduced there. I mean, this is crazy.
That's a verbal threat.
And listen, I called you today just, because I hadn't seen this. I didn't know that there was this court hearing on Thursday, but thank you to one of our viewers who put me onto it. I don't have time to look.
And thank you to my girl who turned me on to it. And thank you to her girl who turned her on to it. Oh, I don't know. I think she watched it herself. I don't know.
At this nonsense. I feel like this is a waste of time. But
let me say this. Anytime you tell somebody that you are going to physically do anything to them, it is considered a verbal threat. It is considered a verbal threat.
That's what this woman's been doing since February. And in court, what we heard is they said she started with this case 1 month after it happened. So February 26th, so somewhere in the month of March of 2024, she started live streaming. And she, by her own admission, I don't know if she's telling the truth or lying, she's under oath, she said, I came in June. Mom and her husband, or her significant other, Katie and Chris, and she's doubling down on it, telling the case, she said, someone has to know something. A boy can't vanish. Exactly. And it's not up to this psycho to figure it out. It's not up to bullshit Betty to figure it out, or me, or Ed, or anybody. It's our responsibility to, as content creators, is to put his name and his face out there, which we have done. And go and look at my Sebastian Rogers playlist. This is going to be the only one that's not totally dedicated to him, but we at the end will show his pictures, we'll talk about his case, we'll show his face. But when you look at some of the stuff that this girl does, this woman does, it's just that annoying voice talking about they're out to get me, we, a bunch of nonsense. It's just insane. I've had about enough of it. Coral and Dexter, thank you for the $5 for credentials, posts, no matter the topic.
Yeah, I understand that, true crime genre and YouTube and making these videos is some people's means of income.
Yeah.
It's not mine. Okay. It's not Ron's. Okay. We have jobs, even though we're retired from the NYPD, we still have jobs. And, we do this on the side and more for educational reasons than anything else. But, it's not about Ron and myself when we go over these courses. It's always about the victim and the victim's families and the loved ones that are hurting. And we support victims. And so I don't understand, what benefit comes out of doing something like this? How are you helping?
She's not, and she knows it. And that's some of the most dangerous people, in my opinion. And we see this a lot when we interview criminals, and we have video of them committing a crime, whatever the crime might happen to be, and they will look us right in the face and say, "I didn't do that."
Yes. How many people that do messed up stuff to someone will be like, yeah, and you've got proof that they did it, and they'll be like, I didn't do that. It was some other dude, right? It was some other dude. For real.
You got this all wrong. And they'll give you an explanation.
I'm sorry,
Those are some of the most dangerous people, and she happens to be one of them, because when she's cornered, she's like a cat. She just starts to scratch at you. And she comes up with all cockamamie excuses and a lot of misinformation. And the bottom line is all you have to do is pay attention. And if you pay attention, you can see it pretty clear for what it is.
Yes.
And the bottom line here is, folks, is this. We, as I said, we have our own jobs. We make our own income. People like her do not have a steady income source. And the motivation is to get people riled up, because drama and sex sells, but this happens to be drama. There's no sex involved in this, although people will argue with me about that in the comments, because whatever. Anyways, what I'm saying is she knows how to get people riled up.
No, why he's avoiding the SEX stuff is because a lot of people's opinions, it's not necessarily mine, because I really don't give a crap, but some people think that she might be, Seth Rogers' girlfriend or Tony Mathis's girlfriend, and, that stuff, to me, I could care less. More power to her, but there sure is a similarity between her and the Zixter's voice when they get overexcited. Well, Betty's excited a lot.
And how to get her people to send her money, because she plays on it as me as the victim. Everyone's coming to get me. No, lady, it's you and your actions. You are acting like a fool. You are acting like a criminal.
Crimes where they would steal properties from people, forge deeds, things of that nature, and then take over their property, and then get homeowners insurance and create fires, collect homeowners insurance, they would get the mortgages and so forth, and then steal all the money. And then when people became aware of what they were doing, they would murder those people. Okay, and they would go around the country doing this, and internationally as well. And then when they finally got caught here in New York and they went on trial, she thought she was so clever and so smarter than anybody else.
Wait. He's telling the story. I want to hear the story. I'm sorry I went through that fast. Okay, so basically what Duty Ron is saying is true. It's very true. And, you know, that's why one of the reasons that when I talk about a case or I do a case and I try to be, you know, I am not a professional at freaking anything. I'll tell you that right now. So I do try to mind my P's and Q's because, you know, for me, every little penny helps, for real. So, but there are other times on this channel that we do roast. I haven't done a roast for, oh, he's talking about Shantae Kimes. Ooh, we'll have to talk about her sometimes. But yeah, what he's saying is absolutely right.
You got this all wrong. And they'll give you an explanation. Those are some of the most dangerous people. And she happens to be one of them because when she's cornered, she's like a cat. She just starts to scratch at you. And she comes up with all cockamamie excuses and a lot of misinformation. And the bottom line is all you have to do is pay attention. And if you pay attention, you can see it pretty clear for what it is. And the bottom line here is, folks, is this. We, as I said, we have our own jobs. We make our own income. People like her do not have a steady income source. And the motivation is to get people riled up because drama and sex sells. But this happens to be drama. There's no sex involved in this. Although people will argue with me about that in the comments because whatever. Anyways, what I'm saying is she knows how to get people riled up and how to get her people to send her money because she plays on it as me as the victim. Everyone's coming to get me. Yep. No, lady, it's you and your actions. You are acting like a fool. You are acting like a criminal. And that's the bottom line.
Do you remember the Kimes case?
Yes.
The mother and son con artists. They murdered Miss Irene Silverman here in New York, David Kasdan out in Los Angeles, a Bahamian banker in the Bahamas. See, these con artists, they're very narcissistic, right? They think they're smarter than everybody else, all right? And when she and her son finally got caught, and with all the goods, all the evidence against them in many of the homicides, because what their crimes were they would steal properties from people, forge deeds, things of that nature, and then take over their property, and then get homeowners insurance and create fires, collect homeowners insurance, they would get the mortgages and so forth, and then steal all the money. And then when people became aware of what they were doing, they would murder those people. Okay, and they would go around the country doing this, and internationally as well. And then when they finally got caught here in New York and they went on trial, she thought she was so clever and so smarter than anybody else, that she did 60 Minutes, she did all these television news shows, thinking that she can convince the world of her innocence, and she actually took the stand thinking that she can bullshit her way through the jury of her innocence and that this was all a frame.
Yeah, yep. And like you said, it rings similarities to the method of operation, the MO of Bullshit Betty. And Ed, you said it so well. There's so many more, in different levels of degree like her that you could tell if you use your common sense and listen to somebody talk. You could tell who really has their heart in it and the right things. Like you said, the money that is created from this, I give half of it or more away. Put their faces on Highway 99 in California in Bakersfield and have their names and faces on Lamar advertising bulletin boards, billboards, electronic billboards on the highway. Do you think that she takes any of her revenue and puts it towards missing person cases and kids? That shit goes right in her pocket and it doesn't go anywhere else. And I don't care what she says. The bottom line is he's there for one reason only, for the money.
Well, I don't begrudge anybody making a living. But I do begrudge when it's not civil and when it's unethical and possible and criminal.
You're making it off the backs of missing and dead children.
Mm-hmm.
That never bodes well with me, Ed. And that got me really angry with this. Exactly. Like you said, if you're going to make the money and you're going to make money off this thing, then regenerate that money into the positiveness of what you're trying to do. Do the right thing. She does not do the right thing, and many others. And we're not here to point out all the others. We're talking about this because this is on the news. Thursday and Friday and Saturday, that's all that we saw on Court TV, the interviews, the local news coverage. We could go on and on about this, but Betty, I am not for you. And you are not for me. And this is nothing personal. This is not me being cocky. This is not me and Ed saying, hey, we're better than you. If you choose to support someone who acts like this, acts like what we just highlighted for a whole hour here, then I am not for you and you are not for me. Ed?
Wow. I applaud you, Duty Ron. I applaud you. Because that's just the fact of the matter, y'all. If there are channels that I don't watch or have anything to do with, that do things like Betty, we'll use her as an example. If you're supportive of Betty and maybe you're not for my channel because I don't support things like that. But then I'm the type of person, too, is everyone's welcome as long as you're respectful and respectful to people in chat. So this is how I feel. You don't have to come into my channel and say, oh, I'm a Betty fan or, this or that. Because I try not to base I try not to base subs or people who come into chat on who they follow. I try really hard not to do that. But, you know, for real, I do agree with what he's saying. And I personally, I mean, I've always watched Duty Ron off and on. I've always been a sub. I've really not heard him express himself in this way before. So I'm listening, Duty Ron.
Yeah, I don't prescribe to the ends justify the means. Okay, I never have. All right, because think about that. If you're that morally flexible, there's something wrong. Okay, you know, we were always taught in the police academy that law enforcement personnel cannot commit a crime to investigate a crime. Okay, think about that for a minute. Okay. You know, that blew me away when I heard that the first time, and then I realized what was saying. Yeah, if you are, Donnie, I guess you like morally flexible. George,
yeah.
Anyhow, if you know, if you're morally flexible,
I did, Cotton Candy. That was funny when I said, "Come get your man." I forget that kid's name. I even forget his name now. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got a big kick out of him.
No, law enforcement's not the career for you. Maybe you know, contract killer is or something. I'm just kidding. You know, but
behavior has been happening. Many of the people claiming to want justice for Quinton, this is from the Quinton Simon case, have turned his tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus. This is unacceptable and has to stop. This is from Chatham County in Georgia. This is a whole different case. But this happened under Bullhorn Betty's watch. Bullshit Betty is what I call her. So let's take a listen to this.
Chatham County Police Department issuing this statement about protesters outside the Simon home. Many of the people claiming to want justice for Quinton have turned his tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus, and they have made it impossible for the people who live in the area to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their homes. This is unacceptable, and it has to stop. One person, a YouTube personality, was arrested out there. The department spokesperson says the protesters have been told to leave the area outside the Simon home and have now relocated to the Chatham County Police.
So they moved them to the Chatham County Courthouse, Ed. And this, I meant to bring this up, and I got to do this before we close it out. This is, again, another case that involved a small little boy that was murdered. Quinton Simon was murdered by his mom, Leilani.
Right.
They were all parked out in front of their houses. There was people in hospice. One gentleman was on hospice. That's end of life care. And his caregivers and his family begged with these people to stop with the noise. And they did it and did it and did it night after night.
Yeah.
I want to show this because this is something that's unbelievable. And it doesn't happen often. You see the police and the town, the folks who run Chatham County, putting up signs that say, no trespassing, no loud music, no loud conversation after such and such hour. Look at this.
Hollywood 6, a total of 4 people are facing charges tonight. They're accused of disorderly protesting outside the home of Quinton Simon. We've reported the 20-month-old disappeared back on the 5th. That's 2.5 weeks ago.
By the way, his mom, like I said, Leilani, is in custody and charged with his murder. And the chief that was in charge and is still in charge was called a fake, phony, and a fraud. And they called him everything under the sun. As a matter of fact, Bullshit Betty said to this man that he should resign and that he should be fired.
Chatham County Police have named his mother, Leilani Simon, the prime suspect in his death, although she has not been arrested.
And yes, as of now, Leilani Simon was charged with 19 counts. And unfortunately, in my opinion, she got life with the possibility of parole. So that's how that played out.
Investigators will continue searching at Chatham.
You remember this, Ed? When we covered this, we looked at this.
County landfill for the boys' body tomorrow morning at sun.
Say again?
It's the FBI.
Yeah.
Rise. Now, an update from our Andy Cole, who's learned the police chief is moving these protester arrest cases to the next level.
Okay. So we know about that. Let me get a little bit further in here. Because I'm hoping Twyla is on here. I'm not going to go through quit. Oh, here we go.
8-9 hours a day outside this home.
8-9 hours a day,
Simon.
yes.
She was live streaming multiple hours because she was getting attention and she was making bucks off of this. So there it is.
And neighbors for weeks. Our Andy Cole reports on the new measures Chatham County Police have.
You hear that? It's something that's been hard to come by over the last few weeks. It's peace, thanks to this sign, or really what the sign means. Since Quinton Simon went missing from his Savannah home on October 5th, hecklers have dominated Buckhalter Road. They've screamed words we can't say on TV, got into disputes with themselves, and some have streamed the entire thing on YouTube. We told you Thursday that a fifth heckler, YouTuber Jimmy Williams, who goes by Dolly, was arrested for simple battery and disorderly conduct. That's not to mention, officers were dispatched to Quinton's home 50 times since October 5th.
50 times. 50 calls for service.
It's insanity.
50 times.
It seems the Chatham County's police chief has had enough. Chief Jeff Hadley said in a statement Thursday that the hecklers were turning the case into a, quote, money-making circus and promised measures to limit the disruption they caused.
That's coming from a police chief, Ed, that knows nothing about YouTube. But it didn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that it was a money-making circus. And that's what's happening with Sebastian Rogers. They are jumping.
And that's the thing about it, you guys. We watched it happen. We watched it happen with Summer's case. And this is the thing. It had already been happening with other cases. It's just that Betty and all of them didn't really come to our attention with things that they had been doing previously until they came into the Summer Wells case. So, you know, like Duty Ron is saying, this isn't, Sebastian's case is not the first. And Summers wasn't the first. It was just the first that we came in contact with Betty. I didn't know who Betty was until the Summer Wells case.
On the money-making circus bandwagon. I see a name in the chat. I don't know if this is actually him, but this is Chris Proudfoot. This says in the chat. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's him. I never spoke with him. But this is an account that's saying, thank you for supporting. Listen, I'm going to just say this. If this in fact is Chris, I would just say this. People like Bullshit Betty and others, not her solely, but her and others like her, are a disgrace. And as Ed said, they discredit the good true crime YouTubers. I'm a retired detective. He's a retired detective. We have a ton of experience as it pertains to searching for the missing. Ed is a forensics expert. He worked in the crime scene unit and has processed over 2,500 crime scenes. When we talk about Sebastian Rogers and other cases, we do it with respect and dignity. And like you said, Ed, we put out verifiable, bona fide information. It's a learning experience here with us.
And this may sound strange, but this is why my channel kind of stays at a certain level, is because I don't want to, I don't like to talk about a missing or an exploited child, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the parents and the shenanigans and all that stuff. And it's really weird to me. I just don't like to do that. So a lot of times, and I'm guilty of not doing it all the time, I try to, if I have a missing or exploited child in my description, and I'm not talking about that specific child, and I'm talking about their parents or something, it's weird to me to leave the child's name in my description and stuff. I mean, really. And why Sebastian's name is in my title now is because I'm telling you guys that it's Duty Ron Talks Sebastian Rogers. I have another case up there. I don't know if I'll have time to go over it today or not, though. Yes, much wasted police time. I don't know, Sassy Pants. I don't know. I don't know who all went to the wells. I don't know. Yes, but I love your content, Cotton Candy. I love the stuff that you talk about. We need to talk about pop culture sometimes. We'll have to do a live and talk about pop culture. I've been following the Diddy stuff. I mean, that stuff's cray-cray.
I brought up this because I wanted to show this pattern. And at the end of this, there is there's some video, and I want to show it because I think it's important. Ed, do you have something to say? There's actually a video I want to show, and then we're going to wrap it up.
No, run it.
I think this is it.
Okay.
Hold on, Ed. Scan the chat because I asked people to give us.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah.
Thank you.
But still, like, you have to think before you do, folks. I can't say it more and more. That it's a very simple concept. Okay, are you helping or are you hurting? Now, I saw somebody said that, bashing Ron in the chat, saying, hey, say what you want about her, but she's helped. She's helped what?
Where is that? Because whoever that is, I want to go and block them.
It's passed.
Okay.
I think one of the mods may have.
Because somebody that delusional and that skewed in their thinking, like, if you really think that she's been helpful, then you need to have your head examined. And I'm saying that respectfully. You are not a critical thinker. You're not thinking logically, because all you have to do is look at a few minutes of what this woman does, and it's not hard to figure it out. So whoever said that to me, that she's helped, You're a dummy. And I'm saying it nicely. I'm trying to say it nice, but you really need to sharpen your skills up because it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out what bullshit Betty is about. Now, here it is. This is it. And then we're going to wrap it up and we'll take some questions.
Also new tonight. Police and hecklers clash outside Quentin Simon's home.
And the Chatham County Police Chief says that these hecklers outside of Quentin's home have turned the case into, quoting him now, a money-making circus. Our Andy Cole joins us live now from outside of police headquarters. And Andy, you even talked to one of the hecklers tonight and asked him about the chief's comments.
Yeah, good evening, Greg. It's been more than a month since Quentin disappeared. Since the story has gained national attention, but it's also brought in hecklers who police say make it impossible for the neighbors to live in peace. Tonight, a fifth protester arrested, all while the prime suspect remains free.
You're holding our people hostage because that Dolly guy or the Dolly guy was in that jail. She was outside the jail. And she's saying you're holding our people hostage while you let baby murderers run free. Ed, we know that they arrested Leilani and her trial starts tomorrow. So this is a prime example. All you have to do is look at this girl. Look at this woman. Look at what she's doing.
Heckler is in jail after a clash at the home where Quentin Simon was last seen. Jimmy Williams was charged with simple battery and disorderly conduct. His arrest marks the fifth heckler jailed over the last month. Chatham County Police say since October 12th, they responded to the neighborhood 50 times. In a statement, Chatham County's police chief says, quote, many of the people claiming to want justice for Quentin have turned his tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus. And they have made it impossible for the people who live in the area to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their homes. This is unacceptable and has to stop.
This is what I do all over the country.
There she is. This is what I do all over the country. Cause havoc and cause problems for law enforcement and for the people of the block where this case happened. We're all disrupted. These people went to the babysitter, this Diana girl who was babysitting Quentin. She was the only good thing in this kid's life. And they were out there heckling her outside of her house.
Yeah,
they were.
What are we talking about here? She self-appointed her. She's self-appointed to do what? Why does she think she has the right to do all of these things? And how does she not see that she's not helping?
She's disrupting the whole process.
That's right.
And that's the whole thing, Ed, is you're stopping. You took resources from the police department 50 times. 50 times. Now, again, it's not her solely, but she is with this whole crew of people out there causing a ruckus.
Like-minded people, yes.
Yeah, insanity.
All over the country.
I'm sorry, Ed.
No, any reasonable person looking at this has to say to themselves, this is wrong.
Yeah.
On so many levels. If she were the family, she were the victim's family, okay, would you want this person advocating for you?
Yeah. No, I would want her so far away from my family. If this person showed up, I would call the police on them, acting like that. So at the end of the day, look, here's Chris Bradford. If this in fact is him, I mean, again, you don't wish this on your worst enemy. And we don't know who's responsible for this kid gone missing, for Sebastian gone missing. But what we do know is it's the job of the FBI, the Secret Service, the TBI, and the local police department to figure it out. Not this lunatic. It's not this lunatic's job.
Bullhorn Betty has been outside Quentin's home for weeks. She runs a YouTube channel and live streams her interactions daily. She calls Chief Jeff Hadley's statement lies.
When I see Billy Joe and Leilani, I ask them questions. Where's the baby? What did you do with the baby? Things like that in a professional capacity. Now, is it loud?
Why would she be? Yeah, Ed.
What professional capacity? You have no jurisdiction here. You have no right to do these things. Okay, you're not law enforcement. You're impeding.
I asked the questions. Is it loud because I'm across the street screaming I'm through a bullhorn? Well, yeah.
An investigation.
Yeah, obstructing governmental administration also is a Class A misdemeanor, and that, in fact, she teeters on that on a regular basis. And the bottom line is I'm playing this. It's a different case than Sebastian, but I'm playing this to show. And I could do 5 hours of this, of all the times that she showed up in Idaho, outside of 1122 King Road, at the Wells home, outside of where Don Wells was working. So many things. The Gabby Petito thing, out in the field, picking up evidence and bringing it into this is garbage, guys. And if you're behind this, unsubscribe immediately. Do not subscribe to me and Ed because we don't want you. I'm just saying, if you support something like this, I'm not for you and you're not for me. And Ed, I think you feel the same way.
In a professional capacity. Now, is it loud? Yes, because I'm across the street and they're at their gate. But I have not caused this. No other YouTubers have caused this. This is their community doing this, not us.
Chief Hadley said that over the next few days, police will unveil new measures to minimize the disruption to the surrounding neighbors. Bullhorn Betty, however, tells me she isn't going anywhere.
I absolutely plan to come back to that house tomorrow because I will not be intimidated by some police chief.
What's going to stop you from coming back to that house?
There's nothing.
So a police chief gives an order to not assemble, and you're going to go back there, and I'm not going to. A police chief is intimidating you, lady? Give me a break. Ed, what are you looking up? You get me nervous.
No, not looking up.
What's going to stop you from? How often have you heard that, Ed, from Perps? You can arrest me all day, every day. She says you can arrest me every day for going out there.
There's nothing. He can arrest me every single day that I'm out there. This is not about me. This is about Quentin.
Eddie, some fiery words from both sides tonight. So what are the plans for the police to keep the noise down in that neighborhood?
All right. I think we proved that point, Ed. Let's go to the chat. Hashtag Twyla. Did you see? Twyla's here.
Okay. I gotta slow this down.
Twyla, EchoSearch Midwest drone coordinator. She searched for Sebastian Rogers. She's been down into Tennessee and she searched twice. Twyla, you ready?
This is educational purposes. Fair
Hey, Twyla,
use.
how are you?
I'm great. Dude, Ron, I just had to chime in one real quick, and I couldn't thank you and Ed more for this live stream that y'all are doing.
Me too.
Because let me tell you something. When people are out there, and I'm not throwing no names out there because I know I'll get attacked, but this is the only channel that I support and will give you facts. But let me tell you something as a professional on the search end, if this happens and people wants to go out to get views and clicks and this, that, and the other and whatever, it makes it so hard for professionals as myself or
Yes.
Dave or any of our other teammates to go in. We'd like to go in and introduce ourselves to the family. Everybody's proven, guilty until proven innocent until proven guilty. And we
Thank you.
like to go in, talk to
Yes.
families. And guess what? We can't because people go and harass them. I'll tell you firsthand that I went to speak with Katie and Chris, not to investigate, not to do nothing but be a friend and let them know
She did the
what we were going to
same.
do as an organization.
She did
I
the
will tell you
same.
this firsthand.
She also did that with Summer Wells. She sat and had conversation with the Wells. She didn't say what the conversations were, but basically she's letting us know that they go in and talk to the families. Yes, we'll talk about that cotton candy, getting that lady fired at the furniture store. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. That was a game, Lil Dev. You're right. It was a game.
They invited me and two of our drone pilots into their home. They literally sat there, talked to us for hours. I seen tears. My drone pilot seen tears, and it was real, raw emotions. And guess what? When we left there was people on their corner. There was people on their streets. And I couldn't believe my eyes that there was YouTubers out there taking videos of our vehicles,
Oh,
our
I'm not
license
talking about
plates,
Dawn,
taking
Sassy.
pictures of our shirts. That is harassment. And I will tell you that Miss Katie and Mr. Chris Proudfoot treated us with the utmost respect while we were there and even after I left there, and would communicate with Katie to make sure everything was going okay, to do what I do as a professional. So this stuff right here has had me so heated, and people wonder why, loved ones or anybody with the family or whatever doesn't want to come out in public because of stuff like
Yes,
this and
ma'am.
people that want to harass. It's wrong. You wouldn't want somebody showing up at your house doing this to you and plastering. I bet you if they could see through the walls, they'd plaster every time Katie or Chris or any of these other, missing people's family go and take a shit, excuse my language, they would plaster it everywhere. And they have their rights just like we do. They have their privacy. Leave them alone. And if you want to help, keep your ass at home and let the professionals in law enforcement do their job and let them
Yes.
families grieve or do whatever they need to
I
do
agree.
to try to get help from the real professionals that doesn't ask for a dime.
EquiSearch does not ask for a dime. Not a dime. Now, I don't have 10,000 subs. I can't do a fundraiser for EquiSearch, but go check out their site. Go check out their site. And it was beyond my comprehension because from my understanding, Seth had a problem with EquiSearch, that they wasn't handing out flyers. And like she said, she sat with Katie and Chris for hours. They welcomed them into the home. They had conversations. Seth, and this is just my opinion, is not that type of person. Why didn't he want to be in on that conversation? It seemed like, just from things that he was saying, that, Katie and Chris, from my understanding, even offered their home to Seth's family to stay at. Yeah. So, there's just a lot. But you're discrediting people who are truly doing this and being professional at it. because they actually care, not because of the money, because they actually care. You think he knows? Hey, not today. Good to see ya.
To get help for their missing loved one. And if you want somebody that's going to do their job, follow Ed and Duty Ron, because they're the ones that's doing it the right way, and that's staying in their home and doing these live streams. You don't see them going out there harassing and blowing through horns and whatever else the hell they do. So it really makes me upset. This is a very touchy subject for me because I have to experience it firsthand. You know, Don and Candace want to shut people out. Chris and Katie want to shut people out. There's other families that shut us out because of people that's doing what these other people are doing. And I'm sorry, y'all don't normally see me upset, but this really pisses me off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
I'm telling you straight up.
Ed, I want to say, when I get a would I get a text message from Twyla like put me on, Ed, when I get a text message from Twyla, put me on the show, like I didn't ask her to come on. She texted me on my phone. She's like, I have something to say. And Ed, this ties right back into what we said in the beginning. It takes people like EquiSearch Midwest who search for the missing, other agencies and other people who want to willingly search ground to try to either recover the remains of a loved one or get answers to where the person is not.
And see, this confused me too, because there was an issue with the Cajun Navy and them coming out to search, and them leaving because of threats. Well, from my understanding, the narrative that was being pushed was that it was Chris and Katie and their people who were, threatening the Cajun Navy. But then it came out that it was actually the other side, from my understanding. Why? Why would you try to discredit law enforcement? That's exactly what happened from the get-go. Law enforcement wasn't doing their job. A lot of times, if you listen to a true, a real true crime channel, they don't put themselves, they don't pick sides. It's putting the information out there. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And what I see a lot of these creators doing is, this is just my opinion, trying to make people guilty before they're found innocent. Anymore, it seems like you have to prove your innocence on social media. You're having to show these people your innocence because a lot of them have already pegged you as guilty. Just like Katie. Katie was the last one that seen Sebastian. So she's automatically guilty of doing something to Sebastian. You feel like Nina's involved? Well, that's interesting, KK.
Clearing area is a way of saying, hey, Sebastian or whoever they're searching for is not in these locations. We've searched it. It makes these people get a little leery about coming out because of all the hoopla going on. And Chris is in the chat and Twyla was talking about it. We're not here to pass judgment on whether there's guilt from Chris and Katie Proudfoot or Seth Rogers or anybody for that matter. The bottom line is here is you want to get the name and the face of the individual out there. You want to intelligently talk about how police and how searchers do these searches. You want to intelligently talk about, hey, if you're a good neighbor and you have camera footage, or if you have this early on, I'm not talking about now, but early on in the cases like this, we talk about, if you see something, if you have anything, give it over to the TBI, give it over to local police. I've had people say to me, I want you to interview me, principals, possible people who are involved in cases. And Ed and I will say, hey, we're not going to talk to you. We're not going to.
And, you know, that's one thing about me. I never wanted to talk to the Wells. I mean, of course I did kind of at the beginning. It was intriguing, but I knew it wasn't my place to do that. I never wanted, you know, you can't ask people questions when you know they're BSers to start with. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. If you know they're BSers, why would you even give them the time of day? I've never talked to anyone in that was a person of interest in any case. In any case. That's not my place. But what has happened is there are a lot of people that are with the defund the police, right? So what better way to push that narrative than to completely take law enforcement as not being credible, as not being able to do their job. If I had a missing son, daughter, high profile, the last place I'd back to work would be jail. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that Seth Rogers had any intention on going back to work the day he left when Sebastian went missing. I don't believe he had any intent on going back to work at all.
Interview you on YouTube. If you want to talk to us privately, we'll talk to you. And then most of the times we tell them, go and talk to the law enforcement.
Go
Don't
to
talk
law
to us.
enforcement.
You're wasting your time.
Right. Right.
What do you got, Ed?
Jenna F says, this is professionalism. And I bet both Duty Ron and Ed are wearing pants too.
Absolutely.
Well,
100%.
sometimes I wear,
John.
no, sometimes I wear a kilt.
Oh.
Okay. So I want to thank you, Duty Ron, for that live. You guys, please go check out Duty Ron. Let's get back to our little critters for a moment here. Yes, KK, please, please, please go and give Duty Ron a great big hug. And from RC. And I feel I am praying for him. Definitely. Yeah, I won't get into any more of that. I feel for him and his family. It's heartbreaking. I don't think they wanted Seth back. I also think there could have been a prisoner with a vendetta. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, not today. But yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Okay, now I got to check this out. Cotton Candy sent this over here to me. She said it's at 29 minutes. This is Queen Bee. Give me 1 second to pop into my chat so I can drop this link. So I can give her credit. Let me put it in here real quick. I got it, Poppy. I'll put it in there real quick. I'm being slow today, you guys. I apologize for being slow. All right, we're going to see why Seth Rogers. Okay, hang on. Hang on, you guys. I gotta find myself here. I wanted to make sure I spelled her name right, how she spells it. It probably would have been faster if Poppy did it. This was last night on Queen Bee. All right, I dropped her link. You guys go check her out. Check out the Queen. The Queen Bee. Okay, I already got that in there. All right, let's see what this is about. 29, let me back it up just a little bit here. Okay. All right, this is on Queen Bee's from last night. And someone is suing Seth Rogers.
Looks like it to me. The docket's already out here.
I backed it up just
It's
a
on the
second
docket
there.
here.
So
No, Clue's getting subpoenaed. I'm like, wait a minute. What the hell's going on
Clue's
here?
getting subpoenaed.
What the hell?
Wow.
What in the hell is going on here? I know I do run on QB time, man. I'm sorry, baby. I'm always late. I'm fucking always late. Right. I'm never late. You guys are always early. Nah,
Oh,
she ain't
there's
got served yet.
Xena. I love Xena.
Clue hasn't been served yet, and I don't think.
Oh, there's Runs with Scissors.
I don't think Seth has been served with his yet
Ain't
either,
seen
but it
her
is on the
forever
docket.
either.
It went in tonight. She was filed today. So, anyways, it's Texana Fernandez versus Seth Rogers. Here's the case number here. Texana is the
Wow.
plaintiff. The filing date, December 5th, 2024.
December 5th.
Says the status is open. Case references none. So when you go over here to filings and you click on this, it says civil summons, one defendant. Texana Fernandez filed against Seth Rogers on 12/5/2024. Then it says there's a subpoena for Ricky Smith, filing date 12/5/2024. And then there's another subpoena for Jay Spain.
Well, wait. Isn't the Ricky Smith who Betty said in court? Yeah, Clue was there. Yeah, I remember. Clue was there. She was recording at the time.
On 12/5/2024. Then when you bring up the fees, it says here state litigation tax, county litigation tax, local county litigation for the judge, jail building tax, courthouse security tax, clerk civil flat fee, clerk fees, subpoenas to send them out will be $12. Archives and record fees and service
I didn't know that, Cotton
collectors is
Candy.
$100. So I'm guessing this is probably her fee to file it. It says additional parties. Seth Rogers is the defendant, Ricky Smith is a witness, and Jay Spain is the officer.
So what happened?
Oh, that's what it shows. No, Texana is actually one of the people who went to Sebastian's vigil that they had when Bullhorn Betty was arrested.
Right.
If you guys remember, when Bullhorn Betty was arrested there, she went there knowing damn well. She went there knowing full well she had missed court.
Right. She did.
So she
I know, I'm impatient. I'm sorry.
She actually came up here on the panel. She did a live stream. Okay, Aaron says, hold on, Google her name. She's affiliated with Michaela's Mutt's place. Well, I don't think she is. Yeah.
I don't
says
get,
the Clue was a witness. I don't know. I know that she subpoenaed her because she said she was there and has that video. So I'm pretty sure that's why she was subpoenaed.
Wow.
I'm not too sure.
What did he do to the person?
But I will say when I found out the
impatient.
information that I found out. Let me have the paper here real quick. So I did some little research here, and it's filed in the state of Tennessee. Looks like a court date of March 5th. It is a civil case for verbal assault, threatening characteristics and actions, and discrimination of DLS, which is disability. She's asking for $17,600.
Wow.
So those are the details I got.
So we don't know anything else.
Yep. So those are the details I got.
Wow. So he verbally. Okay. So Clue was there.
she was there and has that video. So I'm pretty sure that's why she was subpoenaed. I'm not too sure. If there's any other reason behind that or what. But I will say what I found out, the information that I found out. Let me open this paper here real quick. So I did some little research here, and it's filed in the state of Tennessee. Looks like a court date of March 5th. It is a civil case for verbal assault, threatening characteristics.
Verbal assault, threatening characteristics.
And actions. And discrimination of DLS, which is disability.
Discrimination of disability.
She's asking for $17,600.
Oh, so I have a question. Seth Rogers was live last night, and I didn't watch it, but is he needing more money? Yeah, a disabled woman. Wow. Wow. The lady had a body cam on and has proof. You never know what these people are thinking at all. I bet that blindsided Seth. They're so busy trying to sue everybody else that they must have forgot what they had done. Oh, she talks more about it. A woman who claimed she was a teacher who looks after autistic children. Oh, that was asked not to film the vigil. Oh, yeah, because allegedly they were asking people not to show the vigil. Oh, Tony went on the lab about it last night. Karen, but isn't that just what Tony said about her? I don't know. I'll have to look into it before I really, you guys know I have to research it. I have to do my own research. Well, in my opinion, Tony should have been trying to, she explains it more. Okay, hold on. I got to pull it back up. I already took it down. Give me 1 second. One moment. Okay, hang on. I got to share my screen. Do you think they're just trying to get more money? All right, I got to speed this up. If it's going too fast, you guys let me know. And I dropped Queen's link, but you can feel free to drop it again. Anyone who likes. All right.
Verbal assault. Wow, what the heck really happened that day? Yeah, apparently there was quite a bit that happened that day. So we're waiting on the filing to be sent over.
780.
Yeah, never-ending law warfare, huh? So there was a day that the vigil happened, and Clue was there recording Betty getting arrested. You guys remember that?
I remember.
Prior to that happening, there was a woman there who was at the vigil with a body cam on. They asked her to leave. I don't know who Tammy is, but they asked her to leave, and Texana said no, she wasn't leaving. Yeah, that was the worst video ever, man. I don't know what the fuck Clue was doing, but that was the worst fucking video ever. She was shaking her ass off with that. Hold on. See here. No wonder Tony had his hands on the video. See, I don't know. We need the filing. That's what we need. We need the filing to read off. Yeah, Meg, I am too. I'm real curious. Hold on. Miss Blue says, okay, she's known on Facebook and comments are made to TTT and BHB about stopping her. She was upset about money given to Sebastian's army. This was 2 months ago. Seems that has gone on a while. Yeah, it's been going on for a little while. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's fine. I'll run with you.
Okay.
Go, I'll run with you.
All right.
All right.
What are we waiting for here? Why am I not hearing anything?
I got a phone call, so I was trying to hurry up and listen real fast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I was
You had
going to
a
write
phone
this down
call.
because it's in the state of Tennessee. The court date is March 5th, 2025. Seth has not been served yet.
Wow.
Barbecue lady, that's who's on panel.
That's crazy.
She was coming up.
All right. So, so someone says she's known on Facebook and comments are made to whoever about stopping her. She was upset about money given to Sebastian's army. This was 2 months ago. Seems this has gone on for a while. Huh. So they verbally threatened or whatever.
5th, 2025. It is a civil lawsuit and it is for verbal assault. And then the second one is threatening characteristics and actions. And the third one is discrimination of DLS, which is in quotes disability. So they are trying to send a subpoena to Clue and they have to serve Seth still. The lawsuit is asking him for the amount of money for $17,600.
Wow.
So,
I mean, was there an organization back then that was legitimate named Sebastian's Army?
Okay. I am going to go ahead and stop that right there. Wow, that's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. So, I mean, I said this from the get-go. You cannot, it was like all those cease and desist they sent out. Look, there's nothing wrong with sending a cease and desist out. All it is saying stop your actions or we're going to get legal court. We're going to take it there, right? So they sent out all these cease and desist, but then they wanted to make it look like there were RICO charges and stuff like that. None of that made any sense to me. None of that made any sense to me. But I think, with Betty, people forget you do the crime, you do the time. And it doesn't matter how much she screams in her bullhorn. The screaming into the bullhorn did not get her those charges. Standing up for Sebastian did not get her those charges. I see where a lot of people have a problem with, her usage of Sebastian's name. I watched her one time and it was more her. She had Sebastian's name in the title, but then she turned around and was only talking about herself and her court cases. She was walking fine in court. Why'd she get hurt? Yeah, it's in the court documents. It's in the court documents. I mean, does Queen show the court documents? Yeah, disabilities aren't always visible at all. But that's just the thing. I mean, yeah, if it's in court documents, it's in court documents. But we hear the way that Seth Rogers speaks to people. We hear the way that Betty speaks to people. So if she was verbally being threatened and talked to horribly, then I can see where that probably, yeah, I played at Cotton Candy. I played what, no, you're fine, Debbie. You're fine. I was just going over the Duty Ron video. And let me tell you guys, Twyla is correct. I don't understand why, and of course I didn't see it in other cases, but especially with Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, these are families that are having a problem with EquiSearch, who is not charging a dime to come in and try to find their children. Now, as far as I know, Dave Radar spoke with Dawn. That situation was taken care of. But it's sad when someone who is out there and they're looking for your child and they're doing it because they truly want that child to be found, and then you have one of the parents trying to discredit your organization. And now that Twyla says that she had conversations with Chris and Katie, is that why Seth was upset? And he used the excuse that they didn't come and help hand out flyers on why he was upset? I mean, sometimes a puzzle takes a little while to put it together. But after all this time, now it comes out about this school. I have notes. I've got notes on it. I think it's like, there was 3 different states, and Katie was trying to it was 3 months prior. The conversation was 3 months prior, which would have been like November, before Sebastian went missing. And Cluminati discussed seeing an email stating the discussions on the schools. Now, there were 3 different locations: Missouri, Texas, and Utah. And I don't know if I'm correct saying this, and I want to try to get it straight. So if y'all know, let me know. Wasn't it reported that Seth is the one who talked about sending Sebastian somewhere like that first? Is he the one that started that conversation with Chris and Katie? I mean, they all had the conversation. Who was the one that thought that up? Who thought that up? Yeah, I just talked about the lawsuit, Debbie. That's what I said. He did that live last night. And yeah, yep, I said the same thing. And those schools do cost a lot of money. They cost a lot of money. And then they were talking about Sebastian's writings and how horrible they were. They were just very disturbing. And see, that's just coming out. remember the comment that Seth Rogers said, Chris Proudfoot said to him about if people know that this isn't word for word, but basically he said that if people, Seth tried to say that Chris was kind of blackmailing him by saying that if people really knew the things Sebastian had been doing, then they wouldn't try to, they wouldn't be helping. And it sounded like Chris was saying, look, we got to be careful about what we say here because we want to find him. And if you start telling certain things, people may turn their backs on Sebastian. And that is very sad, but it's understandable. It's understandable. So I know that Seth took that as like a threat instead of going, let me take this under consideration. For real. Very sad. So, they talked about something called opposition defiance disorder. Is what it's called. And I can't remember if I'm going to pull that up again. I think I've already pulled it up once. You guys know I pull everything up. Opposition. It's basically where they have a problem with authority figures. Oppositional defiance disorder is a behavioral disorder that involves a pattern of angry, defiant, and uncooperative behavior towards authority figures, peers, and other children. Typically diagnosed in childhood, but can also affect adults. There is frequent angry outburst, argumentative behavior, disobedience, vindictiveness, saying mean or hateful things when upset, trying to hurt the feelings of others. There is no known cure. It can be managed with treatment. ODD has been linked to certain brain chemicals or neurotransmitters that aren't working properly. Wow. That's oppositional defiant disorder, y'all. A lot of us did see it coming, Debbie. But, you know, sometimes that train is moving so fast that it's better not to step in the way and get run over. Oh, that's cool, Karen. That's really cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. I've got a couple other stories, but I'm going to save them for tonight. I will take the other case off and we'll talk about that tonight also. So I got two very interesting cases that we're going to talk about. Or I don't know. We may just mess around. You never know what you're going to get over here, for real. But I've got to stay on it I gotta stay on it, you guys, for real. Also, I'm going to get ready to do another roast for my members. I haven't really done one for my members for a while. Well, no, I don't know. Because last time I did one, there wasn't a lot of people that came over, even though they were all members and they could go back and watch it. Yeah, there was only a few of us in chat. So that really didn't end up being a roast, but we were having fun. I played some music and stuff. No big deal. But yeah, I'm going to get ready to do one. And I got to text the person and let them know I'm going to do it. So I always do that. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to get off here. I've got to go to Menards and pick up a couple things. And I appreciate you guys. I'm crossing you with the peace sign. So, all right. Thank you guys for being respectful in chat. I always appreciate that. Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah, he's a genius. Yeah, for real. But yes, Cotton Candy, I would love to get with you and talk about some pop culture stuff. And because I keep up with all that stuff too. I just don't sit around and, research horrible cases. I always try to check out the pop culture and keep up with it. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. For real. So, okay, I've been on here long enough. I appreciate you guys. I will, it'll be 8 or 8:30 if I do a live tonight. When I get back, I'll go ahead and schedule it. You guys can come hang out for a little bit. It won't be a long live when I do my lives in the evening time. Y'all know by 10 o'clock, I've done lost my slipper. Okay, I've done lost my slipper. So it'll probably be on the title to be announced because we don't know which way we're going to go. And if you're not doing anything, Cotton Candy, pop back up later tonight and we'll talk about the pop culture stuff then, unless you're doing a live. So, but I do love your stuff. I really do. All right, Poppy, you're the best. Debbie, you're a hoe. H. Davis, I hope you're taking your nap. So I do appreciate my mods. You guys are all great. You really are. So y'all make my channel for sure. All right, I'm gonna get off here. Catch you guys later. Have a great day. Yeah, come over, Cotton Candy, for real. Oh, you're welcome, H. Davis. You're such a good guy. You really are. Yeah, definitely come by, Cotton Candy. That'd be so much fun. Thank you, Katie. All right, gotta go. Peace out, everybody. Ooh, look at that butterfly. Oh, my God. Poppy is now my host sister. Absolutely. Sherry knows what you did. Oh, my goodness. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. I hope she was proud of you. I hope she was proud of you. You emailed her and told her? Well, we're all here for you, buddy. For real. You know you're safe. This is definitely a safe place for you. You know that. You know that. We adore you over here, man. All right, I'm going to get off here. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you here around 8:30. I'll see you then, hopefully. Later, Gators.